became a genius? After an accident? That's what we will find out in life's amazing stories. We will witness the story of people who had a strange ability, after having an accident. Who they are, and what abilities came out of them, how they activate their brain at the genius level, that's what we'll find out. Before we start our story, if you are new to this channel, don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to like this video, so that you are always updated with life amazing stories. Let's get started. Jason Paget is a salesman in Alaska, and he just lives a simple lifestyle. Like young men, he is a happy-go-lucky person. He loves friends and especially women. They also love to go to bars. When he was just a student, he had no inclination to study, and he always said that math was a big nonsense, because it couldn't be used in real life. But on September 13, 2002, while his friends were having a good time at a bar, he went out to freshen up. What he didn't know, there were two male thieves waiting for him. They suddenly hit him on the back of his head with an arm. He fell to the ground and he only saw two men, removing his old jacket. He saw an inexplicable light that appeared like a camera flashlight, which was really dazzling, until he fainted. He was taken to the hospital with a head injury, and he sustained a traumatic brain injury. He recovered for a few days in the hospital. When he got out of the hospital, he noticed that his behavior was changed. He had obsessive-compulsive disorder, or called OCD. A person with OCD has what is called anxiety disorder, in which a person you find out what he or she doing over and over again. What he can think of, he will do immediately, like washing his hands. Jason washes his hand 10 times in an hour. That's how he noticed the change in himself. He was also afraid to go out, so he covered her windows and doors with blankets and large curtains. He only goes out when there is something to buy at the grocery store, and he only does it at night, so that there are fewer people. But as he experiences being OCD, there is another extraordinary thing that he experiences. It is how he sees his surroundings. Everywhere he looked, he could see lines, different lines. There were straight and there were also curved lines. It's just like when he looks at his hand, instead of just seeing a simple hand, he has strange lines that can be seen here. He sees the same thing in other things. He feels like he's in a video game. He's happy of what he sees, but he's also scared. So, what he does, he draws on paper the lines he sees. That way, he can express the lines he can explain. While he was on a trip, a man approached him and saw his drawings, and the man said, "It looks like the ones you are drawing are about mathematics." He was surprised, because he did not think that the lines he saw were mathematical formulas or geometric shapes. The man told him, his drawings are a high-class mathematics. It measures space and time, based on Planck length. Planck length is about quantum gravity using dimensional analysis, a high form of mathematics. He found out that the man was a physicist and advised him to study math at university. He also went to Finland to have his brain checked, and there he found out that his brain had become a genius in the aspect of mathematics. Over the years, he became accustomed to the world of mathematics. He shared his knowledge. TV stations have also invited him to share his life. He has contributed a lot in the field of math, thanks to the two men who beat him. Those two men were caught by the police, but he did not pursue the case, because he had already forgiven them. We are all afraid of lightning, especially when there is more thunder. If we hear it, I'm sure you'll bow down or cover your ears. Who wouldn't be afraid of it? Because we know that it consists of electricity. When it hits something, it will definitely burn. But something else happened to a doctor in New York, whose name was Tony Sikoria. This is what happened to him. In 1994, one day, he thought of going to a telephone booth. When he finished calling, as he was about to leave, he was suddenly struck by strong lightning, and he sprawled on the ground trembling with his eyes staring. He lost consciousness and his heartbeat also stopped, but his lucky, there was an ICU nurse lined up at the telephone booth. Undoubtedly, she immediately helped the doctor, and that she did CPR immediately. Fortunately, Tony survived. He suffered a third-degree burn to the face, where lightning struck, and a second-degree burn to his leg, where the lightning appeared. He was hospitalized for a few weeks. When he got out of the hospital, and the wounds completely healed, he noticed that his memory seemed to have weakened. So, he thought of consulting a neurologist. He was examined and nothing was seen in him that was strange and everything was normal. A few weeks later, his strength and memory returned, but he noticed something strange in himself. He wonders why he always seems to want to make piano music. He wasn't like that before the incident happened. There was his desire that he always wanted to make a piano, so he thought of buying a piano. He said, his brain seems to be flooded with music that he can't explain, because he doesn't like music. Since he bought the piano, he studied it, and he quickly learned it without much difficulty. All kinds of pieces he played, just like the pieces of Mozart and Beethoven. He was also able to compose his own part. When his fellow doctors found out, the neurologist examined him again, to check his brain activity. There, they saw the part of Tony's brain, which was responsible for music, that came to the genius level, and it happened after he was struck by lightning. Apart from being a doctor, he also became a professional pianist. He has performed in various countries and also has an album. Thanks to the lightning that hit him. No, it wasn't the lightning, but the nurse helped him, because he was still alive. In 1979, Orlando Searle was just 10 years old. Like other children, he also loves sports, such as baseball. One day, he's happy playing baseball with his teammates. When he was about to run for second base, everyone was shocked when the ball suddenly hit him on the left side of his head. He was startled and lost consciousness for a few seconds, but when he regained consciousness, he got up and immediately returned to play. He did not tell his parents what happened, for fear of being reprimanded, so he was not taken to the hospital for a checkup. So sometimes, her head hurts, she just puts up with it, so that her parents don't know, until one day, the pain disappears completely. But after the pain disappeared, he noticed something strange in himself. He noticed something that had changed in his brain, especially his memory. His memory became sharp, especially his memory that time, and what happened that day. He seemed to have a calendar in his brain, what scientists call it, calendrical calculation. This is the special ability, that you can remember the days of the calendar, and what happened at that time and day contained therein. For example, when you ask him what happened on January 23, 1993, he will tell you what day it was, what the climate was like that day, what was the news on TV and etc. Eventually, most of Americans became known him. He was also featured in various TV programs, to show his special ability. He was also featured in Stan Lee's shows, titled Superhuman. Stan Lee is the one who made Marvel Comics. From now he has a family, and he is living an ordinary life. Those are the examples of people who had a strange ability. After an accident, here we can prove that people have a hidden intelligence. You just have to find out, or wake it up. We don't have to have an accident, just to wake up the intelligence that sleeps inside of us. So, I believe the saying, that no one is weak-minded. There are only lazy people, who did not use their given brain. So those are the examples of people who after an accident became geniuses. As for you? Do you know anything else? Just comment down below. As we also know, let's meet again on our next video. Thank you for watching.